Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Freelance Friday podcast. Today we're going to do a Q&A episode. I was recently looking through my podcast analytics and I saw that Q&As are actually some of my most, well-received episodes, which is great because I love just chatting. But for this one I actually wanted to ask you all a question before we get into the questions you had for me, if that's okay. So let me know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify. What do you call yourself? This is a question that has been on my mind for quite some time. I called this podcast the Freelance Friday podcast when I started it in 2018. That was just the term that I knew of and that I personally identified with. And so that's how the name was born. But I've kind of become a little bit disconnected from the name. I guess, I don't know. It's not that I don't like it, but I was recently in a room, let's just say a virtual room with other freelancers, and someone was bringing up their thoughts on freelance and that freelancing seems like disconnected, not that serious, very cheap. And I don't know. I hear this over and over again in the sort of online business world. Is there something else that you guys call yourself? Are you an online business owner or a content creator? Do you just call yourself by the job title that you do? Like, are you a social media manager, a public relations person, a graphic designer? I'm really curious if you can give me any insight. And also, I would really just love, love, love to hear what you want from me and this podcast. Do you want more on freelancing? Because that's what I originally started the podcast for, is to be like, here's how to get started. Here's how to get clients. But I think over time, I've realized people like more of the, I don't know, like marketing stuff or social media stuff or content creation stuff. So anything you care to share would be so, so helpful. I know a lot of you are going to say that you want more social media news and updates, and I will actually answer that question. I'll save it to the end because I've talked about it before on why I decided to stop doing that series. So stay tuned. I'll talk more about that. I don't want to bore you guys for those who have already heard me explain it. But yeah, anything you care to share about what you want, it would be greatly appreciated. Don't mind my kneecap coming up to join us. Okay, let's get started with the questions you guys had for me. So first up, is freelancing actually harder than a 9 to 5? There's that term, choose your hard, right? And I think that's honestly the answer. Like, hard is subjective and it so depends, right? If you work a 9 to 5, I don't know, like working on your feet, like you work at Costco or something like that, stocking groceries, yeah, like that is physically harder than my job for sure. I'm not going to deny that. Like, I get to take it easy on days when I'm not feeling super well. I can work from bed. I can work from the couch. Like, that is such a privilege. And I'm so grateful for that. I worked retail growing up, like in high school and college. And it just like was the worst when I would have to go to work like with a migraine or cramps or something like that and go and like stand on my feet for hours and hours. So I will never take that for granted. But I will say, like, compared to my office jobs or even compared to retail, I certainly I work way, way more working for myself in terms of hours. Now, again, a lot of those hours are hanging out by the pool, sitting on the couch, being on an airplane, like doing something kind of fun. But yeah, I definitely work more. And I definitely think that you are going to put more of yourself into it. It's a different kind of hard. I have to think about my reputation and like all of these things that you don't think about when you're just like working at Victoria's Secret as like a salesperson. So I think you have to know yourself and determine, is that hard for you? Is that emotional for you? And also just choose something that you love. I know it's super cheesy, but I think if you are going to work for yourself, you have to go into it knowing like this is kind of going to become part of your identity more so than a traditional 9 to 5. So you really do have to like it, love it really, and be able to and be willing to talk about it a lot and kind of immerse yourself in that world. How has your relationship with money changed since working for yourself? I love this question. I feel like we should do like a whole, I could do a whole episode on it. For sure. I grew up, without much money at all, like very, very working class, single income household, that kind of thing. And I remember my dad, my dad, RIP to that man. He gave me so many random, like little nuggets of knowledge, if you will. And he was quite the character. One of the first things I remember hearing from him was he would always say, like, money is the root of all evil. And I know we've all heard that term before. And there's a lot of reasons I think he felt that way, and I am not mad at him for feeling that way. I understand why he felt that way. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that money can do good. I mean, I think the system that we live in isn't ideal. Like, I wish, yeah, the whole system is like messed up, but I can work within that system if I mean, that's the only option I really have, right? And I can do good with money. So I definitely kind of had to grow out of that feeling that having money meant you were bad, or wanting money meant that you were selfish, or all of those feelings. And then I think I reached a point after that where I sort of almost went the other way, where it almost was like my only identity came from a dollar amount. My only pride, my only sense of pride came from how much I made. And that was really negative too. Like, I went too far because it's just not realistic. The level at which I was working was not sustainable. And obviously, as I know, there are so many amazing, wonderful people who just never have financial success in life. And that doesn't mean that they're bad people. So now I'm kind of coming back to the middle of like, you can do good things with money. It's not a bad thing to want to make, a good amount of money and be able to do fun things and live the life that you dream of. But also, if you don't make that number, if you don't beat last year, if you, whatever, need to take some time off, you're not a bad person. You're not a failure. Like, you can always rebuild. And I think I'm sort of realizing that money is just a resource and it comes and it goes. I have proven to myself over the years, not just of being in business, but also of working at the mall. And like, I had to sell my car to go to school, to go to college. Like, I did that. Like, I know how to make money. I can do what I have to do. I can make sacrifices. I can, eat beans and rice for months like I did when I first quit my full-time job to make it work. I'm resourceful. I will make it work. Like, you just have to have that confidence in yourself. And then, like, cultivate that abundance mindset and everything from there. But I don't know. Yeah, it's been a journey. Okay. What's a season in your business where you felt insecure, but you didn't show it online? Well, I think I did show it. And I have been honest about this, but I think I'm like in this healing season from when I had this like really traumatic season of my life and business, which was when I had this eye condition. I still have it. It's chronic. It doesn't go away, but it's managed now, and I've sought healing and lots of experts. I've spent so much money on fixing it and managing it. But yeah, when I had this really scary health issue that I didn't know what was going on, and yeah, that was the darkest and the lowest I've ever felt, I think, in my life. Besides maybe when my dad passed away, but even that, I don't know if I was in such a dark place. And I'm kind of like, when you're going through something really hard, and I think you kind of do this thing to like protect yourself. Like, you don't think about just how hard it is in the moment. You kind of just like one foot in front of the other. Like, I'm just gonna, I just gotta wake up tomorrow. I just have to like go to work tomorrow. I just have to get through that one meeting. And then looking back at it, you're like, oh my gosh, like I was in such like a trauma response about it. And I kind of forgot how dark it was. Like, that's where I'm at now. Is social media management actually beginner friendly, or is that just clickbait? I think it is, or it can be. I think social media management can be. Like, if you're watching this or listening to this podcast, chances are you probably have enough lived experience, like user end experience with social media to be able to learn how to do it. Now, I do think you're going to get there faster and easier if you invest in a program, invest in a coach. That's not saying that it has to be me, but of course I do have them. I do have social media courses and coaching and stuff. I do think you're going to get there faster if you work with somebody, but you don't have to. You can figure it out. I mean, I kind of figured out social media management by myself. I got jobs in social media management before I did freelancing, but to get those jobs, I really just used my experience as like a blogger and like an internet person. So you definitely can do it. With that said, I do think there is a lot of clickbait out there. I don't think it is like truly like you can just have never opened Instagram and have never had a job ever of any kind in your life, and you can make six figures doing Instagram management. Like, I think that is clickbait. I think, even though I didn't go to school for marketing, I did go to school for film. That helped me a lot because a lot of, as we know, like social media is video related. I also learned how to write in college, so I never had issues with like spelling or anything like that for captions. And then even in my retail days, like I learned how to sell, and selling is a part of social media, and customer service is a part of social media. So I'm not saying that you have to have the exact same career trajectory as me, but I do think you need to be able to look back at your experiences, look back at what you've learned either in school or, through certificates, through online courses, whatever, and be able to like map out a path for yourself. That's why when like clients are like, "Oh, I'm going to get my 12-year-old nephew to do my social media." It's like, good luck with that one, because nothing against your 12-year-old nephew, but there is a lot of strategy. There is a lot of just things that you learn from being a professional that are involved in it. So it is beginner friendly, but yes, there's also a lot of clickbait. What part of running your business looks glamorous online but feels heavy behind the scenes? Filming is one. I actually like filming is my least favorite part of my job, aside from vlogs. I love filming vlogs because I'm usually not like, yes, I'm the narrator, but I'm usually showing you guys something like, oh, look at this food I'm making. Look at this screen that I'm sharing, whatever. Sitting down to film these videos still gives me anxiety every single time. And I've done this for like 12 years. So there's that. I do think there are some things that are just challenging. Meanwhile, I love editing. Like most people hate editing that I talk to. I'm like, I love a good editing session. Another thing is speaking or events. I would say that does look very glamorous, right? When I'm like up on a big stage and, people are coming up to me afterwards and shaking my hand and taking pictures with me. I love that part. I love when it's over and I love meeting people and hugging people and all the things, but I still do get stage fright. I still do get nervous every time I step on stage. It gets better and better. And I definitely notice there are certain topics that I feel less so that way about. Bad English, but like, for instance, I love talking about YouTube and video. That feels really natural and I don't get as nervous. But when I'm asked to do like social media strategy talk, I get like, I don't know, something in me, like, I don't know, it just freaks me out. And there's a lot of prep that goes into that. Like there's a lot of time and hours that go into putting together presentations, memorizing them, practicing them. There's a lot of logistics involved, travel even. I mean, I love travel, but it's kind of a lot. So if all your platforms disappeared tomorrow, what would you do? Well, it's funny you asked that because I sort of feel like I have been having some weird issues with my email in particular, email deliverability. And so I sort of feel like I'm kind of reinventing my business. Like I'm kind of building it up from scratch, to be completely honest with you. Yes, I still have YouTube, knock on wood. Like, please don't leave me. Please, you guys turn notifications on, all the things so you don't miss my videos. But yeah, I mean, I think algorithms have changed. Even Instagram, it's like I reach a very small fraction of my audience, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced too. Email deliverability is getting harder. So I do sort of feel like I'm kind of in this space. But if I truly lost everything, including YouTube, I would probably start writing. I would write some newsletters. I think that is a really lower resource type of content that you can create regularly. If you're a writer, that is. It comes pretty naturally, pretty easy to me. And so I could pump out a lot of articles compared to the amount of time it would take me to like build up a bunch of videos and that kind of thing. Now, I would probably still build my YouTube again just because I love it and because I do think there is so much value in long form authoritative content. I really, really do. But I think like, yeah, if I was trying to build back an audience quickly, I would just batch out a bunch of newsletters and send out like a newsletter every day for, a month and build up my email list that way. What would you guys do? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. What's something you used to teach that you don't fully agree with anymore? I love this question. Okay. I was thinking about this recently, actually. So it's not that I don't agree with it, but I used to always say like choose 1 to 2 core platforms, right? And I do still believe that. I do believe like it's very hard to be everyone to everything on all the platforms. Like I consider myself a YouTuber first and foremost. Like all of my content is YouTube first. I'm thinking about the way it looks. I'm thinking about the title for YouTube, all of that. And then I repurpose it onto the podcasting platforms. I may take a clip and put it on, Instagram or whatever. But I do think that nowadays it's not so much quality over quantity anymore. I don't want to say it's quantity over quality. Like, I don't think it's fully shifted that way, but I think it's more in the middle. Like, I do think consistency is rewarded, frequency is rewarded. So I do think that we have to show up in more places. I think we have to show up more often. Again, you don't want to completely lose quality, or you don't want to completely be like all over the place where, you're not like, I don't know, you're not staying true to your brand and all of that. But yeah, I do think you need to diversify a little bit more than just focusing on one platform. Now, it's not to say there are some people who only create on one platform and do really well. I barely post on Instagram. Like, let's be honest, like, I'm still not good at Instagram, but I have been posting on it more just to like stay top of mind for people and try to, I don't know, like, not be a dinosaur. Have you ever felt insecure watching other creators grow faster than you? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like, I'm not a hater. I'll be honest. I'm not a hater. I am somebody who I view people's success as an expander. There's that concept of expanders. When I see somebody who's like in my niche or in my category doing well, I'm like, okay, well, it's possible. Like, there still is opportunity for me in this space. And especially when we think about YouTube, I look at it as opportunity, because their videos are going to recommend my videos, hopefully. And, it means we're building a community together. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm like, well, what's different about that person? Like, I especially get insecure when people name names. Like, they'll leave a comment and be like, oh, I watched this person's video. Oh, I think you're a lot like this person. And I'm like, yeah, why does she get so many more views than me if you guys think we're alike? Like, I'm confused. I don't know. I think there are some things that are just luck. I think there are some things that are just, I don't know, maybe they're prettier than me. Maybe there are some things that are just unfair, right? Like, I can't change those things. And it's not really worth your time or your energy to like rack your brain thinking of what those things could be. I know that I have to stay true to myself, because that's the other thing. And this is not to, be rude to any of those people, but also like some of the people who I get those comments about, like, oh, you remind me of this person. They do all of the stuff that I don't believe in. They do oh, here's how I made $1 million. Here's how I got X number of views. And like, I don't like that kind of marketing. It's just, I wouldn't feel right doing it. I could do it. I could play that game. I know I could. And I just don't want to. It just feels icky to me. No hate on them. Do you? But like, I think you just have to stay true to yourself and say, you know what? I am given what I'm given for a reason, and I'm grateful for what I have. And also sometimes I think like, I don't really like getting a ton of views. I mean, I like the money that comes from getting a ton of views, but I've never been like an attention seeking type of person. Like, I don't like a lot of eyeballs on me. I like this small, intimate community we have. I like knowing that I can make a mistake or say something and not get like canceled for it, and not have it like blown up like all over the place. So, we're given what we're given for a reason, and we just need to be grateful for it, I think. Is social media management becoming oversaturated? I get this question every time. Yeah, I do. I mean, I was actually just reading a report that was talking about UGC, user generated content, and that the rates for UGC have gone down year over year. And I am seeing that. Like, I'm seeing that with a lot of things, especially UGC, because I think so many people exploded onto that scene. And yeah, that's a sign of oversaturation. That's a sign of people who are less experienced, maybe making less quality videos, charging very entry-level rates, and the market reflecting that. And I think probably the same is true for social media, but I think it's exactly that. I think you need to be able to differentiate yourself from that. If you are somebody who's been doing this for years, or you create really beautiful video content, you don't need to worry about people charging $100 per UGC video. I don't even want you to think about that. Think about the things that make you different. Think about the success that you've seen. Think about the case studies that you have. Put those together so you can differentiate, because something I've learned is there will always be people who will pay for quality and efficiency and expertise. And then there will always be price shoppers and people who are like, "Ooh, I just want I just want to say that we did this and hire like the most entry level person that we can afford." But there will always, in any economy, there will always be people who are looking for true experts. So I think that is what you need to do is showcase yourself as an expert, showcase yourself as somebody who is confident, as somebody who can get results. I think this is the other thing. Like, if we're going to talk like, not just mindset woo woo stuff, but like real hard data doesn't lie. And I have seen this when I've tried to hire people. A lot of people don't know how to speak data. They say like, "Oh, like I know how to create this many reels, or I know how to create really aesthetic reels." Okay, what does that mean? How many of your reels converted to a sale? How much traffic on your client's website is coming from social media that you're posting? Like, what is the ROI? What is the return on this investment? I think if you know how to speak to that, you are in such a better place than people who are, speaking in like really vague terms and just like making pretty stuff. That's just being honest, because anybody can create pretty stuff. We all have cell phone cameras now that produce amazing quality video and photo, but we don't all have an analyst brain. So I think you need to train yourself to think like an analyst, even if you're a creator first. Okay, one more little sassy question, and then I'm going to talk about what's new in social. Have you ever felt resentful of your audience or business? And I'm going to be honest with you. Of my business, not really. I mean, not really. Like, I've always been so grateful. Even like on the hard years, the hard days, I'm like, I get to talk to a camera, I get to play with cameras, I get to travel. I had that feeling on the last business trip I went on. I went to Orlando for Podfest. And I was like, I get to leave snowy cold Michigan in January to go to Florida, beautiful sunny Florida, and go talk about podcasting on a stage. That is my job today. Like that's very, like, I'm so grateful for it. My audience mostly know. I love you guys so much, but I will be honest, there's one thing that has gotten me in my feels, like, as of recently. I'm sure there's been other things, but I've only made a couple of videos about the divorce. Like, I don't want to like ramble on about it, but it's a big thing that happened in my life right over the past year, and made a couple of videos here and there. And on every video, it's like I was kind of expecting the hate comments, if you will, to come from strangers, like just like dudes or whatever. But a lot of people who are like subscribed to my channel immediately went, "Can we hear his side of the story?" Or like, "Well, didn't you already have like a blah 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 partner, blah blah blah?" And you're like, like, I don't know, like judging me, people who are subscribed to me judging me and automatically taking the other person's side. And I want to be clear, there are no sides. I truly, like, I've said this so many times, but I truly love and care about my ex-husband so much. We didn't have this like dramatic, like hateful, end to our relationship. But if there is a side, I would expect my audience to take my side, right? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting and kind of, yeah, it was hurtful that I was automatically painted like the bad guy in that situation. And maybe it was because I was being too protective of him, but I'm never going to be the type of person who gets on YouTube and is like, "Yeah, I was so miserable and this person was so bad to me." Like, I'm just not going to do that. Not that I'm judging anyone who does, but I think overall, I'm so grateful for the decade or so that we spent together in our lives. I'm not going to like, I don't know, denigrate that and reduce that down to like the things that ultimately ended things for us. I'm always going to speak, he's family. Like, I'm not going to like talk badly about him. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting, and it really made me rethink what I shared on here, because I don't feel like it's a safe space. I'm like, I guess people are just waiting for the opportunity to paint me as the bad guy. That kind of sucks. Okay. And just to be clear, like 99.9% of people have not done that, but it was like that 1% that I'm like, what? Okay. So last thing I just want to address again is why I stopped doing my most successful content series on YouTube. Long story short, it is political. Like, talking about what's new in the social media world is impossible to do without getting into politics in today's world. I initially dreamt up the idea to be like, hey, here's like a new Instagram algorithm change. Here's a new feature coming to YouTube. But it's so hard. Like I just did one on TikTok, and I just clipped a piece from my other podcast I do with my friend Rye. And it was impossible to talk about the fact that TikTok got sold and that it has a new terms of conditions without talking about the political reasons that people are upset by it. I just am not doing my job if I just say, hey, there's a new terms and conditions. Hey, it got sold. Research it for yourself. Like that's not the point of, And so I clipped that and I posted it just as a standalone on my channel just to see how it would do and just to give you guys the update. I want to do it as a service to you guys so you guys got the update. And the video stalled in views. And I was like, that's weird because normally like people like this kind of stuff. And I was like, let me just do an experiment and let me try to run it as an ad and see like if it even gets approved. Because if it doesn't get approved, that's my answer. And my hypothesis was correct. It got rejected. I was not allowed to boost it as an ad on YouTube because it viewed it as a political ad, quote unquote. It was not. I was talking about TikTok, but yes, of course, I had to talk about the president's name. I had to like say these things. And long story short, I just think it is hurting my channel overall. Even though they get a large number of views, I think it's hurt my monetization on YouTube. And I also think it's divisive. No matter how neutral I try to come at it across things, like it's just, I don't want to be a political creator. I really don't. And that's just the long story short is I just don't think it was good for my channel, even though it got a lot of views. So, and also I think there is something like from the marketing lens, just because something gets a lot of views doesn't mean it's good for your channel either, because I saw very, very few of those people converting. Like, I think that is like a volume game. It's like, if you're going to do news, you need to be doing it every day. You need to be doing the clips. And like, that's how you're getting money is from like the views and from the ad, the sponsors and stuff. I don't think it's the right type of content for if you're trying to funnel people down to a service or a digital product or course coaching, whatever, like I do. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, that's not true for me, but that has just been my experience. I gave it some time to test it out and I just don't think it made sense and it just didn't feel right. That said, I have been doing a live version for my members. I'll put the info down below. So you can pay like $5, become a member and get the live stream version. And I will maybe put more clips up for the public. But like I said, most of them get flagged for being political so they lose monetization and they get stalled in views. So it's very strange. That's just my thoughts. Any suggestions on that as well, I'd be open to it. But thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope it was fun, helpful, interesting, all the things. Be sure to leave a comment if you don't mind. Tell me what you think about the term freelancer. Tell me what you call yourself. Tell me what you want to see more of on this podcast and on my channel in general. And I will talk to you in my next episode. Bye.